Hello everyone, dear followers, and welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect moment. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you're ready, because what we're about to unpack has shaken the celebrity world and had everyone arguing for days. The entertainment sphere is once again buzzing, and at the center of the storm are names we all know too well: Demet Özdemir and her ex-husband Yaman. A quiet decision, one that looked simple at first glance, exploded into a nationwide talking point. Demet's absence from the funeral in Istanbul for Can's grandmother, who recently passed away in Italy at the age of 92, has ignited a wave of reactions that refuses to die down. What looked like a personal choice instantly became a public drama. The ceremony was held at a historic mosque in Istanbul, the kind of place that pulls the city's soul into stillness. The courtyard filled early, the air heavy with prayers and whispers. From the arts to politics to business, recognizable faces came to pay their respects. Can stood near the front, visibly devastated, fighting to hold himself together. There were moments when he simply couldn't, the grief spilled out, raw and undeniable. His parents, Özdemir and Yaman Osman, flanked him, leaning on each other to stay upright, their sorrow readable from a distance. And yet, amid the sea of faces, one absence drew every gaze: Demet was not there. From the first minute, murmurs spread in waves: why didn't Demet come? Cameras scanned the crowd repeatedly as if she might still appear at the last second, slip quietly in and take a place at the back. She didn't. The ceremony moved forward, the final prayers were said, and the family accepted condolences. The moment the funeral ended, the discourse began. Hours later, Demet took to social media and posted a single carnation on a black background. No caption, no mention, no tags. A small, stark symbol. It might have been intended as a sign of respect, a gentle nod in a noisy world. But instead of calming the fire, it fanned it. Debates broke out under the post and spilled across timelines and talk shows. Was the flower a graceful, private gesture? Or was it distancing in disguise? In the circles where showbiz gossip flies fastest, a chorus of insiders insisted Demet's decision was purely personal. Since her divorce from Can, they say, she has faced a relentless storm of commentary and speculation, much of it fueled by old resentments and the lingering shadow of the Sarah Bluma crisis. The same people whisper that Demet didn't want to turn the funeral into a spectacle of awkward reunions, sideways glances, and camera zooms. A friend of Demet's allegedly put it plainly: she respects Can's family deeply, but after everything, she felt it wouldn't be appropriate for her to be present. There is another side. According to sources close to Can, her absence stunned him. He was already carrying the weight of grief, and the empty space where he expected at least a sign, a call, a quiet message, hit harder than anyone might imagine. After the burial, he reportedly confided to those nearest him, "On a day like this, I thought I would at least receive condolences." That's basic humanity. Whether he said those exact words or something close, the meaning spread quickly and cut deep. To some, it sounded like hurt, to others, a reproach. Then came the words from Can's mother, Özdemir Osman, spoken softly but with a steel that only grief can harden. Without naming Demet, she said, "In times of pain, old disputes should be set aside. We expected, at the very least, a gesture of respect. Choosing not to come breaks hearts. People have their reasons, but certain moments are unforgettable." Her statement was interpreted widely as a message aimed straight at Demet, a transcription of a mother's disappointment, and it traveled everywhere within hours. Social media became a battleground. One side defended Demet fiercely: she and Can are over, why should she be there? She doesn't owe the public anything. She shared a symbol of condolence, why isn't that enough? Besides, they argued, funerals are already so fragile, would her appearance have opened the door to more scrutiny and speculation, possibly overshadowing the family's grief? The other side was unflinching. If there was once love and a bond with the family, if there was a marriage and vows and memories, then stepping in for a few minutes isn't about publicity, it's about compassion. They called the choice disappointing, even cold. There's another twist: the Italian press grabbed the story and refused to let go. Given Cannes' immense popularity in Italy and the fact that the grandmother had been living there, the narrative crossed borders quickly. Features highlighted how close Demet had once been with the grandmother, how warmly she was received back when things were joyful. Some Italian headlines practically sighed with regret, emphasizing the sorrow of the family and the silence from Demet's side. A few outlets went so far as to call it a missed opportunity for closure, framing it as a wound that might take a very long time to heal. With Demet absent, a new spotlight began to creep toward a familiar name, Sarah Bluma. Even though it made perfect sense for Sarah not to attend, certain gossip columns leaped into speculation as if pulled by gravity. Would this be a window for Sarah to reconnect with the Osman family? Was Demet's choice inadvertently clearing space for someone else to step closer? Some pundits all but declared that Demet, by staying away, had left the door ajar. Others dismissed the idea as an opportunistic stretch, but it was enough to spark another round of chatter and frame-by-frame analyses of who hugged whom outside the mosque. People in Demet's circle insist that the decision tormented her. They describe long nights of indecision, conversations with trusted friends, and a dread that her presence would shift the day's meaning from farewell to flashbulbs. According to one confidant, Demet had a sincere affection for Cannes' grandmother, and that the choice not to attend was not about resentment or neglect, but about protecting the peace of the ceremony from misinterpretation. It wasn't indifference, the friend said. It was caution. Television panels went wild. Words like dignity, propriety, loyalty, and boundaries were tossed around like confetti, each pundit clutching their definition and their audience. Opinion columns added philosophical heft, arguing about how public figures are forced to negotiate private rituals under the harsh eye of the crowd. One voice asserted that Demet has built her own life and owes herself the right to choose what spaces she enters. Another countered that funerals exist outside the tug of personal grievances, they are sacred, and the proper thing is to step forward, not away. In the midst of it all, the image of Kim breaking down won't leave public memory. The camera doesn't lie about that moment, it simply bore witness. The weight on his shoulders was obvious, the way grief sometimes carriage breaks a person mid-step. Beside him, Güven Osman tried to absorb as much as a father can, grief confronting grief. Guests came up, pressed hands, whispered prayers, and there was a persistent undercurrent of "will she come?" that never resolved into a yes. Fans who remember the brightness of the early days between Demet and Can felt the conflict like a bruise. More than a few recalled interviews and candid moments, the glow of shared smiles and family gatherings back when the future looked easy. Those same fans are the ones now split down the middle, deeply protective of Demet's right to draw lines, yet aching at the idea of final goodbyes handled from afar. Behind closed doors, both camps seem committed to their stories. Those on Demet's side insist she tried not to be a disturbance, that her carnation was a simple, modest salute to a woman she genuinely liked. Those near can whisper that silence can feel like abandonment when tears are fresh. Everyone seems to agree on one thing only: nothing about this is simple. As the days pass, the arguments don't fade much. The posts multiply. Clips from the funeral run again and again, freezing on Cannes' face, on the hands of family, on the slow procession leaving the mosque. Commentators rehash the same timeline, poking holes, drawing arrows, suggesting what-ifs. They ask whether Demet might still make a private visit, whether a phone call might be enough to thaw hearts, whether calm statements from both sides could finally quiet the storm. Every hour that goes by without a clear acknowledgement from either Demet or Can keeps the speculation alive. There is also a quiet, untelegenic truth: grief is messy, and fame turns mess into content. The public draws its own moral lines, sometimes with compassion, sometimes with claws. But even among the harshest takes, you can hear the undertone of longing, for a gesture of closure, for a moment of softness between two people whose story once made crowds believe in warmth and light. People want a frame to hang this on, something that makes the choice make sense. Maybe, in time, that frame will appear. For now, the carnation remains on Demet's page, solitary and stark. For now, the words from Güldem Osman linger in the air, and the reported comment from Can hangs with equal weight. For now, Sarah Bluma's name drifts through conversations like a shadow that refuses to fade. And for now, the city remembers a farewell that was dignified and heartbreaking, carried by a family that did what families do, they stood together, even when it was hard to stand. You've reached the end of our video. If you felt the pull of this story and want to keep up with everything unfolding, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Thank you for spending this time with me. I love you all so much. Until the next one, stay safe, stay kind, and I'll see you soon.